we have to always bring in motives. If our motives are pure, then it works, right? Regardless of the timing, it works.
A lot of us need to focus on this. Stay in your zone of genius. Stay in your zone of genius.
Now, we got to talk more about this Jay-Z interview, because it's rare. When Jay-Z comes outside, it's very rare, right?
Oh.
We have this other clip that I had to pick because I feel like we create different brands and businesses because we just want to be in the mix. We just want to be a part of it, right? So this clip kind of speaks on it, and then we're going to expand a little bit more.
Like I said, some people fall in love with the announcement. So their mind is not on the success of said thing. It's on the announcement and showing people look, I'm in this space too. I want to do the other version. I want to do the Burger King version of this McDonald's idea. And then, it's not based on their love or passion of what they want to do. It's based on getting the look that makes people think we're equals.
Yeah.
So, it's funny in the interview, he started to say, yeah, LeBron came out with this, and then he's like, oh no, I'm not gonna say no names. Right? But I'll use that kind of example where one person may come out with a alcoholic beverage, and then all of a sudden everybody else has an alcoholic beverage. One person may come out with a sneaker, then everybody comes out with a sneaker. One person, you just want to fit in, right? And I think there still has to be a level of passion and love into when you do something like that. Like, your motive shouldn't just be because I want to be a part of it, to be in the in crowd, because that's all you're trying to do. When you create certain things like that, you're just trying to be in the in crowd. It's not even being relevant. It's just being part of the popular kids. It's not, yo, I really love this. I do want to be part of the space, and I think I could kill it, right? But I really have, I have an understanding of it. I have some thoughts and perspectives that I feel like I could really add to this particular space. Not to say I have it to have it. Yeah, no, I put that under my belt, right? Because those don't last long. Those are real, those are seasons again. And what I'm realizing as we speak more in this podcast is that, we're unveiling certain seasons of people's brands. And sometimes that's not that bad, right? Like, having a season of being in a particular space sometimes isn't bad, but the motives are bad, right? I want to be in it just to be in it. I want to have it because this person has it. And I want, like he said, I want to be known as an equal. So, for example, if Moose, started working with an eye company, right? Like, has his own line of glasses, right? Here I am, well, bump my contacts. Hold on. You know what?
Come on with it.
I partnered. I come ready. What are we talking about, right? I have no interest in glasses. I have nothing. But I see what Moose is doing, and I'm like, well, for us to stay in the same lane, and sometimes it's not even on no competition or anything. It's like, yo, just so you know, I'm still in this game. Like, I'm going to do exactly the same thing. If I want to be known as one of the greats, and LeBron is opening up a school, having a liquor company, owning 17 different sports teams, and this, I'm going to have a team in rugby. You know what? I'm going to have a rugby team. You don't even watch rugby. Yeah, but I own a team. I own a cricket team, a bowling team. Like, okay, you're trying to be innovative for no reason. Like, so we have to always bring in motives. If our motives are pure, then it works, right? Regardless of the timing, it works, right? But if our motives are not pure and we're just trying to be in the space, then one, it won't last long. Two, people could see right through that. Three, you will never beat the person or even maybe seem in the same line as the one you're trying to keep up with.
Yeah. I said this, and this is a big theme. A lot of us need to focus on this. Stay in your zone of genius. Stay in your zone of genius. But what a lot of us may fail to realize, and I'm going to offer a different perspective here in a second, but we got to remember that if I'm into something because you're in it, there's a very big chance that I don't know the ins and outs of it, especially if you're passionate about that thing. So I'm going to get out of my zone of genius to chase something that you've activated just so that I can, in the hopes of staying in competition or possibly beating you at it. There's no way I can beat you at something that you are more proficient in, right? It's just difficult. It's the concept of, what C said, Michael Jordan playing golf or something like that, right? It's like, oh, he's the greatest athlete in the world, but then you see, playing baseball on me. You see him play baseball and you're like, oh, okay, hold up a second. Maybe he's not the greatest athlete, he's the greatest basketball player, which makes sense, right? But think of how much of a time waste that was. You left the sport that you were dominant in to go try to possibly succeed at something that you like or you saw other people doing.
Right.
I'm not saying that was Mike's reason, but just think of it as if that was the cause, right? It just makes no sense. Why not stay in your zone of genius and figure out ways to become even more dominant, right? That makes the most sense. So for that reason, or as it relates to this topic, for sure, I think immediately of this concept of staying in our zone of genius and not letting these ideas or whatever they are, insecurities, pull us to do something just to keep up with somebody else that probably doesn't even make sense for them. Honestly, if you actually want to beat the next person or be in competition with the next person or stay up to date with the next person, in a ways, you got to continue to do things that you're great at. Now, just for the sake of understanding, because this was the beginning of the topic after all, or the beginning of the episode, there is a fine line between what we're talking about and what we started with by saying you have to innovate and embrace the next generation to stay relevant, right? There is a fine line with that because ultimately, even with how you do any of these strategies, you shouldn't dump what you're doing and go all in onto the next thing to stay relevant or to keep up with the next person. They have to be more strategic drips to see, okay, let me try this. That's why I said try, don't feel threatened, right? So for the sake of understanding that's that. I will say this, and maybe I'm the only one, but I think I suffer from, or struggle with, suffer seems too crazy, struggle with the polar end of that. Meaning I will not do something because that, by the way, not do something that could be good for me, that is to my benefit, because I saw somebody else do it. So I don't know if I'm the only one. I'm sure I'm not. I hope I'm not, because that would be weird. But yeah, I got to figure out a way to get out of this idea of I'm not going to do it even if it's helpful for me because somebody else is doing it. I've spoken about it a few times before, but quite honestly, I don't know that mentally I've bought into or I've quieted my pride down enough to say, yeah, no, you should still be doing this. Those times when you know how to say the right thing, but you really don't believe it. You're not convicted or bought into it. So you're an only child too. Maybe you connect with this. Maybe it's an only child syndrome.
No. I don't like doing, once I start seeing people, even if I started it and I see everybody else do it, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it no more. I'm over it. Right?
Yeah.
But that's the innovate. I don't know if it's the only child, but it's definitely the innovator in me to okay, you thought of that. you're going to get the most situations from it. I want to come up with my own stuff, so I'm not going to do what you do.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I gotta work around that. There's got to be a healthier balance to it. Yeah,
It's
I think
okay.
that's what our podcast helps us do, honestly, or I hope help other people do, is finding out the healthy balance. You know, as Nip would say, too much of anything is a liability. So that should let you know there's got to be a balance with a lot of different things, because there's a lot of ingredients to the sauce of success. But you got to find your balance, man. You got to find your taste buds.
That's a fact.